Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. I had a viewer request that I make a Valentine's wreath, and I started thinking about how I could do that so that I could make it over and over again for each season. So I came up with something a little bit out of the box. I hope you enjoy it and that you'll stay tuned. So the first thing I did was I got this frame. It's a larger frame, and I bought this at a garage sale, but you know, any place you can buy a pretty big frame. Let me measure it so you know how big it is. It's about let's see, 18.5 inches long, and the inside is 12. It's 14 inches in the inside, and it's about 11 inches, 10 and 3/4 inch on the inside, and on the outside it's about 14.25 on the outside. So it is a relatively large frame. We're only going to use the wooden part. We're not going to use the glass or the backing on it, and we're going to make it so we have this. Of course, is a Dollar Tree little wooden piece hanging in the center, and I'm going to hang a few other things, but the focal point is going to be this. But as in all things, I'm not going to let it just look like that. I'm going to get my frame out of the way, and I've got some scraps here. I'm just going to put this on. What I'm going to do with this is first I'm going to paint it. That's bugging me. First, I'm going to paint it with paint and Mod Podge together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take some craft essentials. This is your cheap paint that you got from like a Joann's or AC Moore or Michael's, one of those stores. And this is just basic red, I'm pretty sure. It's called Real Red, in case you wondered. And I'm going to put that into my bowl. I'm going to have to paint front and back of this, in case you wondered. And I'm also going to put the Mod Podge in there, same thing, front and back. And I'm just going to use a little stir stick. The reason I'm putting the Mod Podge in here is I'm going to want to have this covered with glitter. So the color that I'm making it isn't really that important. I just wanted to cover up my background so that it's not that kind of cardboardy color. Let me use my brush. You might have to do a couple of coats because of the Mod Podge. But basically, our job here is just to paint it so that we get all of our edges, and we just want it to be a nice, clean coverage because, like I said, you're not gonna really see that much of it because the glitter should cover most of it. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'll come back when it's done and dried. I'm going to use this ribbon. That's going to be the ribbon I'm going to kind of decorate my wreath with. And if you've never seen this trick before, I thought I'd show you this. I bought this little hair straightener on, I think it was eBay. It was very inexpensive, maybe $3. It was so cheap. It's not safe. I wouldn't use it on my hair, but it's great for ribbon. And what you do with it is you just put it on, and you just kind of open and close it, and you straighten out your ribbon that way. You don't want to put it on and leave it on because it will ruin your ribbon. It'll melt it. But it works good for this, especially if you have a ribbon that's kind of folded and you have a kink in it. This does a nice job. So I've done just about all I need to do. I just want to make sure I showed you this so you saw, you know, how to straighten out your ribbon and make sure it looks good for your project. So that's my ribbon. It's ready to go. Don't let your kids use this. It's frightening. Just saying. Okay, next thing we're going to do, I wanted to make a few things that kind of hang down from my wreath. So I have these hearts. I bought these hearts on AliExpress and they're white. But the reason I bought them wasn't just because they were really inexpensive, but I bought them because, it's in my way. I bought them because I knew I would be able to use my alcohol markers and color them. And I want everything to match this ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I think I'll do every other one, maybe one white one and then one fuchsia colored one. So let me grab some fuchsia markers and I'll be right back. I had one other thing I wanted to show you, and that is, I didn't know if I'd showed you this book before. I have a set of 168 Touch 5 markers. They're very inexpensive, but I like them. They're alcohol markers, and I think I paid $63 for the set of 168. But when you have that many markers, you don't really know what color is really what. So what I did was I swatched them out in this book. And then what I do is I take a project like this, and I put it in my book, and I say, well, the closest colors I think I have to it are number 2 and number 3. And so I pulled out 1, 2, and 3 just so I can see if, you know, which marker makes it dark enough. But I thought I'd show you that so you had some idea if you struggle with knowing what marker colors to give a try with. Now you know a way to work that out. You just get yourself a little book like that. I think I'm going to start with number 2 because it was the closest in color to what I was playing with. Keep in mind, an alcohol marker is going to be a permanent marker once it dries. So you want to make sure that you cover this really well and try not to get any streaks. You might have to color over these a couple times to make sure you get them the right color. There, I think that looks pretty good. I think. Maybe I'm lying, but I think it looks pretty good. Off to our next idea. So that is the X's and O's, and I've got my hearts. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to glitter those up. Okay, I've got a big stack of scrap paper, and the first thing we're going to do is put a little bit of Mod Podge on these. Hold on while I get a little brush. Oh, actually, I bought some new glue. Let's use that. I'm all excited about it. I can't remember where I bought it. I'll have to put it in the information below where I bought this, but it's specifically for using with glitter. It's called Cosmic Shimmer Flake and Glitter Glue. And we're going to be using it. And it has this cool little tip that attaches to the top. I like that because I have trouble with things like that. And so what I'm going to do is put my little Cosmic Glitter Glue. I hate it when I can't remember things. I just got this too. Wouldn't you think I'd remember it? You would think I would, but obviously not. So I think with this, I'm going to use a white glitter. This is a Martha Stewart Crystal Fine Glitter. Get all this out of the way. Just going to cover it, one of them, with a lot of glitter. And then I'm just going to tap it in with hopefully a clean finger so I don't end up with red on it. Then let's see, what else do I need to glitter up? I need to glitter up my sign. So let's do that. I'll pull this out of the way. Then our sign I'm going to be doing in a kind of a burgundy, I can't explain the color, but I'll show it to you. It's fuchsia. At least that's what I'm calling it. And on these, I'm going to do a little bit of action with my Mod Podge. Instead of using that glue, I'm going to paint over it with Mod Podge, one layer, and I'm going to have Rich just fast forward through this section or blur it out, whatever you want to do, Rich, and then come back after I've finished this. Okay, so I'm going to move this back and hold on to it at the same time. And I'm going to take my fuchsia glitter and I'm just going to put a little bit across the top. I'm going to put a lot across the top. Okay, then I'm going to move it around like that, trying to make sure that it's well covered. Then dump it like that. Put a little in the front. Dump a little more in the front. I got a little glitter right there I didn't want. Hold on, I gotta get a little glitter glue off there. Ooh, it's looking good. So let's put a little bit more. Oh, I got some on my finger that'll make it all wet again. Pretty good. Oh, I need a little more right there. I have a couple spots here that don't have any Mod Podge on them, or not enough Mod Podge to make it count. Corner. Okay. So our love is finished and dried, and after I did all of that, I sprayed it with a fixative that I can't find, though can when you know. There it is. I use this Krylon workable fixative, and it's supposed to kind of seal things in. I just wanted to make sure that my glitter didn't go everywhere, and you do use a lot of glitter for this project. I basically used a whole bottle this size. There's a little bit left in it, but almost all of that. So anyway, that's how much I used. Then I have this little thin white ribbon, well, clear ribbon. And what I want to do with that, ignore the back because that's going to be against the wall. I'm going to use this to attach it to our frame because our frame is almost white. It only makes sense that we use something like this to tie it to. And I'm going to tie it in a single knot on the back just to make sure that it's nice and tightly adhered to the love, like that. And then it'll hold itself. You won't have to straighten these out because the weight of it should make it so it's straight. I'll do this side. Would have been faster if I would have cut these into a point. As you know, these things are always easier if you do it right the first time. And I'll show you what I should have done the first time. I should have done this. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll hold it up. I'll put it right there so you can see it. See how it's in a point? That makes it a lot easier to thread through anything. As I said, if I'd have done it right the first time, we wouldn't have waited for me to fix it. But anyway, that's the scope on that. We've got both of them tied nice and tight. And then I'm going to get all this out of the way. I have hot glue, and I think hot glue will hold it to our frame. And then I've got our frame. Clearly our frame will probably not fit in the screen because I have it zoomed a little bit so you can see. That's too far. Hold on. So I want this to hang about there, which is, you can't see it, but it would be about halfway down the frame. And I'm going to put a lot of glue right there. And I'm going to gently lay these so they're straight. Pull it tight and lay it in the glue. You want it as straight as you can get it and as tight as you can get it in the glue. Same with my second one. Second burst, same as the first. One of my viewers told me that the best hot glue is from Michael's. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll put it in the information below if I can remember to think of that later. But she said she likes it. It doesn't string, and it doesn't give her the problems that this does. This is an AdTech brand of glue, and it's horrible. It's the stringiest glue I've ever had. Now you're going to try and make sure you get this as straight as you can, like the love sign. You want it to be straight when it hangs. I have other things that I can either decorate the outside of the frame, or I could put some of my little hearts on the outside of the frame, my little X and O that I have that I made yesterday. I could maybe put them on the outside of the frame, you know, like decorate around it. I think the first thing I better do is my bow, because that's going to be the thing that is going to make a difference on this. So I think you saw this yesterday. This is the big bow material that I started with, and I want to make a pretty large bow. I'm going to hold that up there, and I think I'm going to try the bunny ear thing just because it might work best for this. And that's how you put two loops like that together, and then you pull one through the loop of the other. I know you're thinking that's never going to work. Trust me, eventually, after about 50 tries of this, it will work. So I've got my bow. This is the biggest I think I want it. And I'm not going to put it on the center. I'm going to put it over here on the side. And I'm going to put some hot glue in the center of the back, like that. And watch it string away. I'm going to put it right there. Hold it in place for a second. Hopefully, I'm going to move it down so you can see it. Then what I thought I would do is kind of take my bow, what do you call these? The I don't know, strings. We're going to call it the legs. We're making these words up as we go. I'm going to call it the legs of the bow. I'm just going to kind of make it go down the side of the frame so it looks like it's just kind of, I don't know, falling naturally, maybe. I'm just going to leave that lay kind of loosely right there. Remember that I'm going to reuse this wreath for other holidays. We're going to take it apart and use it for like St. Patrick's Day and 4th of July. I thought it would be fun to have a reusable, reinventable wreath made out of this picture frame. And so I will keep doing videos using this. This, as I said, this is not a mini frame, so it's kind of hard to get it into the frame well. And stay there, buddy. Little glue right there, because I have kind of a weird little thing. Weird little dollop. No, weird little bend in my ribbon is what I had there. Put a little bit here. I know you're waiting for me to burn myself and scream. I'm not going to. I'm going to be brave this time. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold it. You fold it in half, and I'm cutting toward the end from the center. So you're just going to do it like that. Much better that time. Looks more like a fishtail. Okay, let's see. Might be too long though. We'll play with it a little bit more. Okay, this is pretty far away, but here's what I was thinking. I have these little hearts that you saw me play with yesterday. I thought I would glue those to the bottom, and I really wanted to add more things to it, but I don't want it to end up looking really super tacky. So I think that this might be the last thing I glue on, just because, as I said, I just don't want it to look really tacky. I want it to be simple and something that we can take apart and change up every season, hang it back on the wall, and go from there. So I think that's our wreath. I might add more to it, but I don't think I will, because I like the look of it. It's simple, but it has a lot of bling to it, and I hope that SL, who was the viewer that asked me to make a Valentine's wreath, I hope that you liked my take on a wreath. It was clearly not the same as everyone else's take on a wreath, but if you have the frame, I bought these little hearts from AliExpress. I'll put the link in there. I bought this from the Dollar Tree. Then the rest is just ribbon. If you had a larger frame, you could hang more things down, which originally was my intent. But, you know, these things happen. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.